0.25%. With the false narrative, it would spur economic growth and jobs. Everyone would have an opportunity in this economy. That's what he said. But what it spurred was a front-loading of the biggest, fake, unsustainable stock market rally of 200%. That's what it spurred. Now, most people did not participate in that rally because people got out of their 401k in 2009. And they said, just get me out. I want nothing but fixed income. And they got killed because with low interest rates, fixed incomes get murdered. You got to know what you're doing. If you're going to really retire, you got to be associated with the stock market. That's why you come to philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. We're a teaching format. Boy, do we give good service. You know, buying a stock doesn't have to be complicated. The reason why Wall Street makes it complicated is so to make you think you need to hire them. You can do better without them, believe me, because you're not going to have those big fees. Come to Phil's Gang, where we'll show you an easy way to buy a stock. philsgang.com, where we don't make it complicated but profitable.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. There's so much bad news out there. Let me give you some good news. The good news is you can retire when you're 65 years of age. You can live the same lifestyle you've come accustomed to, but you're going to have to make a change. And what's that change? To get rid of your 401k. It's a scam. It doesn't work. We've never seen more people pulling their money out of 401ks than right now. $40 billion just in this last few quarters because they know it doesn't work. So they're taking their money and stuffing it in the mattress. That's not what to do. Look, it's not about the money you put away. It's about how you invest that money. And clearly 401ks don't work. But it does work here at Phil's Gang. philsgang.com, where we just got a return of over 35% in copper.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. Aren't you tired of all the nonsense you hear from these financial shows like this?
Should I be worried about Bear Stearns in terms of liquidity and get my money out of there? No, no, no. Bear Stearns is fine.
And then they went bankrupt. This is what I'm talking about. This is crazy. Your 401k. They take half of all the money you put away. Look, it's not about the money you're saving. It's about where you invest it and not in a 401k. Join my gang. Start using charts. I'll teach you how to use a chart so that you can maximize your returns on the money you do have. And the earlier you get started, the better. Join my gang, philsgang.com. philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, people make it too complicated. Wall Street tells you the market cap and the trailing PE and the forward PE and price to sales to confuse you. All you need to know is, does the stock have volume? What's that mean? Energy. What does that mean? If you have people buying a stock, enough of the stock's being bought, it influences the prices to go up. Join my gang, philsgang.com. We're using charting, philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call. That's 877-600-4264.
They just told us right away that we're going to house you, we're going to feed you, and every single one of his medical bills is just all taken care of.
They've saved my family from financial ruin. It allowed me and my wife both to focus on the most important thing, which was the health and well-being of our son.
We have phenomenal research, outstanding clinical care, and the generosity of public, which allow us to treat patients regardless of what it takes. And that's what makes St. Jude so magical.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, families never receive a bill for treatment, travel, housing, or food, because the only thing a family should worry about is helping their child live.
Doctors send us the toughest cases to be treated at St. Jude, and our patients come from all over the world.
When we come here, they told me, don't worry, everything will be taken care of.
We could never repay St. Jude for what they've given us.
Because of you.
Gracias a ti.
Because of you.
There is St. Jude.
Are you ready to get serious about your financial future? Reduce your debt, pay off those student loans, and prepare for retirement. Taking control of your finances can be intimidating, but with philsgang.com, you'll be educated and guided to make smart investment decisions in the stock market. If the market is up or down, philsgang.com is the only source where you'll learn how to trade stocks and how to invest in the stock market using professional-level skills and strategies. For more information, go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264. The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Brandy.
Fundamentals, and I think those are looking better and better. I think we've got rising economic momentum. If you look at economic surprise indices about the globe, all of those are up.
Really? That's Jim Paulson. Everything's swell. That's what B said, too. What are you, nuts? Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. All right, the market, we opened up this morning over 200 points. Why? Well, because they took a study, they took a survey, and Great Britain, most of the people are now saying they don't want to leave the EU. So on that basis, the market rallied, and they're just sticking there, staying there. That means if they do another survey, the market will drop. So we're caught in this range on the S&P. Now, the beautiful thing about being a chartist and using our color-coded chart is that the chart is a smoothing mechanism. You don't react to every rumor. You don't react to every stock that goes up, every stock that goes down. If you do that, you're going to lose money. By having the chart, and you're using, instead of using these crazy fundamentals that make no sense, you're using the technicals on that chart, you don't get involved with the everyday up and down. So we've been doing quite well. We're just laying back in the weeds, and this will be over on Thursday. But to do anything right now with every rumor that's going on is nuts. Okay, is nuts. You buy in a rumor, then you sell into the fact. Well, you're nuts. That's what's going on. So everyone should just chill out until we see what happens on Thursday. They are not going to leave. Great Britain is not going to leave the EU. Just not going to do it. They should. They should, because they're tired of socialism. There's so much socialism right now in Europe, is incredible. And here, everybody's trying to get away from the socialism, and we're going towards it. Isn't that absolutely nuts? But here's the real story. I could not believe how many of these jibber jabbers on these financial shows over the weekend were stunned. They really thought Aunt B was going to raise rates in June. Were they nuts? When just 6% of our 28 of the S&P 500 companies are contributing 50% of all the profits? What are you, nuts? When earnings growth for the fourth quarter 2015 came in at -8, the GDP was only 1.4%, for God's sakes. Then the earnings growth for the first quarter of 2016 came in -9%. GDP, 0.5%. And then get this. The earnings growth for the second quarter we're in now is expected to be another negative, more than 5%, and a GDP of, if they're lucky, of 1%. And so far, 81 companies have issued negative earnings per share guidance, and 32 companies have issued positive. That's it. 32. 88 said, negative. Everything's bad. Yet the jibber jabbers on CNBC are so disappointed. They really thought she was going to raise rates. These people know nothing. These economists know nothing. Then you have, after this dope Paulson comes out, Jim Rogers says this, just the opposite.
It's going to be worse than 2008. You're going to see bankruptcies. The debt is much higher all over the world now than it was 8 years ago. Even China now has a lot of debt, which it did not have in 2008. No, I'm afraid you're going to see a lot of problems. Everybody's debt has gone through the roof.
That's right. Let's think about it. Why would we be so lucky to think we're in a recovery? It's been a lie. We've never been in a recovery. So we're in a recovery, we're told, and they're ready to raise rates. When interest rates are lower today in 2016 at a quarter point than in 2001 when Greenspan lowered the rates to from 5% to 1% right after the economy tanked after 9/11. Let's think about that for a minute. If the economy was really doing better, why the hell are the rates today lower than in 2001? Wouldn't rates be higher today? Of course. We've been duped. And the fact that Obama is the only president in history who has not achieved a 3% economic GDP? Are you kidding me? He hasn't grown the economy 3%. He's the only one in history. That proves there's never been a recovery since 2001. That proves it. And the recovery has been an illusion of pretend and extend created by this administration and his PR department, the liberal press. What are you, nuts? This is crazy. You know what's really interesting that nobody talks about? The banks, nobody in the press talks about, just me. Why would Aunt B, her bosses, the heads of the 5 largest banks, UBS, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Citi, give her the green light to raise rates when it's against their own best interest? Why? Well, remember after we bailed out the banks, the Federal Reserve Banking Cartel instructed Bernanke to lower the 1% Fed fund rate set by Greenspan about 8 years earlier in 2001 to 0. So the 5 banks could borrow money at 0 interest to do what? Invest in 10-year treasuries, which in the last 8 years averaged 4%, making a huge profit, $400 billion. They're making much more money than they would lending on mortgages or to small businesses. Let's think about that. So Aunt B, her bosses right now are making $400 billion in the last 7 years because they can borrow money from themselves, the Federal Reserve, the banking cartel, at 0, and then just invest it in treasuries. Why on earth would they invest it in a mortgage or in a business loan? At best, a bank makes about a 0.25% profit. Yeah, they're like the supermarket business. They hardly make anything, but they do a hell of a lot of business. $400 billion. So they're going to say to their employee on B, hey, raise rates. Now that the 10-year treasury is at 1.6, they're going to want her to raise it from a 0.25 point to a 0.5 point. Of course not. But why isn't the press reporting this? See, and this is why there's been no recovery under President Hussein Obama. Because banks stopped lending. They stopped lending. They're hoarding that money. They get as much free money as possible to buy treasuries. The reason we're in such trouble, there's no recovery, because we don't have the right jobs. Why? Because the small businesses on Main Street create 78% of all the meaningful, high-paying, full-time jobs. But the banks won't loan to them. Why would they? Why would they? And this is why we're now in a manufacturing recession. And that's why jobs are being killed off left and right. By not lending to small Main Street businesses that provide 78% of all the good full-time jobs, no wonder there's no. We're now a rental nation, for God's sakes. No wonder 12 million homes are still upside down. Yeah, 12 million homes still upside down. But the press doesn't talk about this. We'll be right back after this break, 15 past the hour, here on Phil's Gang. Join my gang.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. Let me ask you, could you use a little extra money? Well, of course you could. Everybody could use that extra revenue to pay the bills, pay down debt, or save for retirement. With philsgang.com, we help you make that extra income in the stock market. For over 15 years, Phil Grandy and philsgang.com helps folks who are interested in learning short-term and long-term investing by providing professional-level charting skills and strategies. philsgang.com is your number one source to learn, invest, and profit in the stock market. And you can do this for only $49.95 a month. With philsgang.com, you learn how to invest in the market. You get daily investment coaching guidance, and you will learn to invest and trade with the skills and confidence of the pros. Just log on and get daily investment instructions and make profits. Plus, all philsgang.com material is archived for your convenience. Go to philsgang.com to join or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Call today. Phil Grandy is a career businessman who has also been an entrepreneur all his life. He has used his business skills to take companies on the abyss of bankruptcy and bringing them back to profitability. Phil has been honored by Inc. magazine with the 500 fastest growing privately held companies and has been recognized with the prestigious Entrepreneur of the Year award. From the real estate to gas and oil industries to the stock market, Phil Grandy has mastered his line of business from start to finish. And with a passion and desire to make you a profitable investor, only Phil teaches you and guides you to make informed, unemotional investment decisions. And you'll gain the knowledge of what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. If you want to learn from the best and strengthen your ability to invest, then turn to Phil Grandy and philsgang.com. Simply call Phil's Gang at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Or go to philsgang.com.
Be sure to watch the Phil's Gang Show with Phil Grande, weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on various devices like smartphones, tablets, your computer, and more. Get free access to the Phil's Gang Show right in your hands at home or on the go. Simply go to philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com and click on the Listen Live link. And we'll see you on the charts.
Phil Grandy is a career businessman who has also been an entrepreneur all his life. He has used his business skills to take companies on the abyss of bankruptcy and bringing them back to profitability. Phil has been honored by Inc. magazine with the 500 fastest growing privately held companies and has been recognized with the prestigious Entrepreneur of the Year award. From the real estate to gas and oil industries to the stock market, Phil Grandy has mastered his line of business from start to finish. And with a passion and desire to make you a profitable investor, only Phil teaches you and guides you to make informed, unemotional investment decisions. And you'll gain the knowledge of what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. If you want to learn from the best and strengthen your ability to invest, then turn to Phil Grandy and philsgang.com. Simply call Phil's Gang at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Or go to philsgang.com.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Hi, I'm Phil Grant at philsgang.com. Aren't you tired of all the nonsense you hear from these financial shows like this?
Should I be worried about Bear Stearns in terms of liquidity and get my money out of there? No, no, no. Bear Stearns is fine.
And then they went bankrupt. This is what I'm talking about. This is crazy. Your 401k, they take half of all the money you put away. Look, it's not about the money you're saving. It's about where you invest it and not in a 401k. Join my gang. Start using charts. I'll teach you how to use a chart so that you can maximize your returns on the money you do have. And the earlier you get started, the better. Join my gang, philsgang.com. philsgang.com.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264. Are you ready to make profits in the stock market? Why not check out philsgang.com or give us a call, 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
And welcome back to Phil's Gang. Okay, let's go make some money. The market's up 183 points. Let's go to Stock Corner.
Stock Corner is brought to you by the Phil's Gang video channel. Go to philsgang.com. Click on the video channel graphic and check out Phil's free videos on the market, economy, and current events.
And it's also brought to you by Walter's Way, a wonderful book. Author Walter Share. Pick up the book. Go to my site, philsgang.com. All the proceeds go to Vera and Walter Share Foundation. This is an incredible book. It received the 2016 Silver Axiom Business Book Award, which is very unusual for a first-time author. It's a wonderful book. It's a warm book. It's an incredible person. I mean, this is truly the entrepreneurs. I mean, he's the iconic entrepreneur. He put together 50 large acquisitions, 50 large companies, Sperry, the big boys. I mean, what he did was incredible, this man. He's now in oil and gas, and it's fascinating when you read the book about this man. How he lost it, made it back. How he got screwed with the Japanese on his fax machine, and just amazing. And he just keeps coming back and coming back. He's always upbeat, keeps going. He just, it's just an incredible man. And as I say, you'll love the book, but you'll love the man even more when you get done. Go to my site, philsgang.com. Please pick it up. And remember, the money goes to Vera and Walter Share Foundation, okay, and St. Jude. All right, look, the stock market today, don't do anything today with the market, not unless you have a chart. Why? Well, because the market is reacting to every bit of news that has to go on with what's going on with, are they going to, Great Britain, get out of the Union, the EU? Are they going to stay in? Well, the rumors from one minute to the next change. They took a survey over the weekend, and they said, well, it looks like they're going to stay. So this morning, the market's up over 200 points. Now it's up 183. It didn't go anywhere. Now if they take another survey and say, well, they decide they're going to get out, they'll go down. We're in a tight range. And this is the beautiful thing about the color-coded technology we have on our PT2. Take Starbucks, for example. Starbucks has been in its trading range between $54 and $64 for over a year. Can you imagine? That's 54. That's a 16% range. 16% range. Now, it's red. So what it tells you is don't buy. It's the color-coded technology. The real value is to tell you when not to get in. The real value is when you have events that are happening like this with Great Britain, and you have this volatility going up and down, up and down. It helps you. It keeps you out of trouble. It gives you the confidence not to put money in, to wait and see what's going to happen. Then you get your buy signal. Now, Starbucks could be a good buy signal. Just got to wait a little bit. But this could be a great signal because this has been going sideways for over a year. So, Apple. Everybody's concerned about Apple. Everybody's favorite stock, Apple. Now, Apple has been since, Apple's dropped from $131 down to $89. It's now at $95. So let's say 131 down to 95. And again, it's about a 31% drop. And the people that's owned Apple and just, I'm going to hold on to it, they lost 31%. You got to get like 66% back to break even. But if you were using a chart, the technicals in this chart, the PT2, the minute it turned red, you would have known the big institutions are getting out. There's no such thing as a great stock. There's no such thing as a stock market. It's all about individual stocks. And individual stocks are terrific because they're easy to follow. Because you're following the money. You're following the money. And what's easier than following money with today's technology? So join my gang, philsgang.com. Now, raising rates. We knew, as I said, she's not going to raise rates because it's against the bank's self-interest. For heaven's sakes, since 2001, they've been borrowing money free, getting money free. And they've been investing in 10-year treasuries at an average return of 4%. Don't you wish you and I could do that? So why would they tell their employee, Aunt B, to raise rates? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. So, and also the other thing is she can't raise rates. How's she going to raise rates? When the U.S. right now leads the global markets, the world markets, and the number of companies that are in default. Corporate defaults, 19. We lead the world. She can't raise rates because it would cause more energy defaults, especially in shale oil companies. With oil prices right now so low. Are you kidding? Caused by Iran coming into the world's oil market and the increase in oil production by the Saudis and the Russians, our enemies. She can't raise rates at a time auto sales are already dropped by 18% in their bellwether month of May. Are you nuts? She's not going to raise rates. Things could even get worse over the summer. Remember, autos are 40% of all our manufacturing in the U.S. We don't manufacture anything anymore. We just manufacture houses and cars. That's it. And we manufacture stories. We manufacture stories for the world. All kinds of stories. Like, hey, we're doing great. Come over here and invest your money. Manufacturing's already plunged to a 7-year low. Factory orders are at a 10-year low. And productivity, which gives us our standard of living, has dropped for 4 quarters in a row. Now, you're not telling me that's not poking a hole in Aunt B's narrative? The economy's doing swell? We're in a recovery? What are you, nuts? But the beautiful thing that what backs this is the chart. It shows you the big institutions aren't putting money in. And when they put money in, it's only for a few days. You know what the real sad thing about this? 7 years. What an opportunity that's been missed. We could have had a Reagan kind of recovery. We could have had a 4% growth rate. Instead, we end up with we had the best opportunity, but with a Marxist. Are you kidding? We'll be right back after this break. Phil's Gang. Phil's Gang. Join my gang.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. Wouldn't you love to be a business owner without ever having to show up at work? Imagine if you could sit back, watch your company grow, and collect the dividends. Now, this situation might sound like a pipe dream, but is closer to reality than you think with Phil Grandy and philsgang.com. Phil teaches you the basics of stock trading and investing. For only $49.95 a month, you have complete access to all Phil's Gang material, plus Phil's daily live trading class where you'll learn how to invest in stocks. And Phil will tell you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. philsgang.com can be accessed from your home, office, or any other location where internet is available. Plus, you never miss a beat because all material is archived. From beginner to seasoned investor, Phil Grandy has been helping people learn about the stock market and producing smart investing strategies for over 15 years. Wouldn't you love to be a business owner? Wouldn't you love to take full control of your financial future? With Phil's Gang, you can. Simply go to philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. Listen to what Fisher said, the former Fed governor.
we front-loaded at the Federal Reserve an enormous rally in order to accomplish a wealth effect.
That's right. Did you hear that? They took the stock market, front-loaded it, ran at 200%, so we ended up not only with a fake stock market, but fake GDP, fake money, fake jobs, fake prices, fake everything. But we took advantage of that, and we're going to take advantage again. That's why I told my gang in May to short the market. On 5/29, that's May 29th, I'm telling you to short the stock market. And we were right. And the market went down over 11%. That's why you got to join my gang and learn how to short stocks just as much as buying them. Learn how to short with me, Phil Grandy at philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Hi, my name is Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. The 401k big lie. They tell you invest $10,000 a year for 30 years, compounded at 6% annually, you will have a grand total of $245,000 to retire. That is not true. That is not the truth. What they don't tell you is the hidden fees. There's 27 hidden fees in your 401k. When you're all done, you lose half of what you put aside for your retirement. That's right, half. And another thing, you're not allowed to do individual stocks in a mutual fund. And you're not allowed to make money when stocks go down. That's ridiculous. Would you buy a car with just forward and no reverse? Why would you ever be in a fund that you can't make money when the stock market goes down? Join my gang, philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. There is only one talk show host, Phil Grandy, who delivers both social and financial talk. Not even Hannity or Rush can deliver a 1-2 punch like that. That's Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. Phil Grandy is unique, the industry leader, the first talk show host ever to combine social issues and finance into winning stock market ideas. That's Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
They just told us right away that we're going to house you, we're going to feed you, and every single one of his medical bills is just all taken care of.
They've saved my family from financial ruin. It allowed me and my wife both to focus on the most important thing, which was the health and well-being of our son.
We have phenomenal research, outstanding clinical care, and the generosity of public, which allow us to treat patients regardless of what it takes. And that's what makes St. Jude so magical.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, families never receive a bill for treatment, travel, housing, or food, because the only thing a family should worry about is helping their child live.
Doctors send us the toughest cases to be treated at St. Jude, and our patients come from all over the world.
When we come here, they told me, don't worry, everything being taken care of.
We could never repay St. Jude for what they've given us.
Because of you.
Gracias a ti.
Because of you.
There is St. Jude.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You know, there's nothing worse than you're investing in a stock and during the day something happens and you don't know what to do. You don't know who to call. Or you call somebody and they just give you a bunch of BS. Not here at Phil's Gang. We value every gang member. During the day, you got a question about your stock, you contact us. We have the best service in the world. philsgang.com. You're not alone. You're a gang member.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call. That's 877-600-4264. Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Show. This segment is brought to you by philsgang.com.
The Bureau is being told about what they can do and what they can't do. They can't go sniffing around anything to do with Muslims. They can't go around to mosques. They can't do things that they would normally do. I'm not talking things that are off the charts. I'm talking about things that normally would be done, but the orders have come down from the White House.
So orders are coming down from the White House not to go to the mosque? Are you kidding? Where they're raising money to send back to the terrorists? Are you kidding? Listen to this.
You said you would check respectfully the mosques. How do you respectfully check a mosque?
Well, you do as they used to do in New York prior to this mayor dismantling. By the way, if you go to France right now, they're doing it in France. In fact, in some instances,
they're doing it everywhere, except here in the United States. How do you do it respectfully? Just like when they send you into your home or into your business, the FBI. What's the difference? At least the FBI, okay, when they go in, I mean, they know what they're doing. They can sniff it out. But not to let them go into the... Are you kidding me? How hypocritical is this? Listen to this.
If in that club, somebody with a gun strapped onto their hip, and you had bullets going in the opposite direction, right at this animal who did this, you would have had a very, very different result.
Okay, did you hear what he said? Now, here's what Joe Scarborough said he said. Listen.
It is an embarrassment every day. Donald Trump saying that people drinking alcohol in a nightclub at 2 a.m. should have guns strapped to their waists and firing those weapons. He said it.
Oh, he did say it? Let's hear it again.
If in that club, somebody with a gun strapped onto their hip, and you had bullets going in the opposite...
Yeah, but wait a minute. Where's the drunk part, Joe? Where's the drunk part? He never said...
It is an embarrassment every day.
Yeah.
Donald Trump saying that people drinking alcohol
no, he never
in a
said anything
at 2 a.m.
No, he never said that. You're the embarrassment. Just like this, when you said...
How do you endorse Paul Ryan, a man that supports the banning of 1.4 billion Muslims from ever entering the United States of America?
From ever? He never said that. Trump never said that. He said temporary.
I would set up it's a temporary...
Yeah, temporary. And Joe, Trump never said about somebody should have a gun and if they're drunk. Yeah, know what it is? They're so afraid of Trump that the party in Washington is going to be over. Think about this. Obama missed incredible opportunities. But before I forget, we're going to show you some opportunities you shouldn't forget right now. And one of them is this. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is unbelievable. This is why you need charting.
All right, I've got a buy on Disney. The performance of the NBA Finals last night, what a game. But the ratings there and probably the monetization of that game just reflect and validate the value of live sports. And I would also say the studio has been really solid. I mean, if you think of Zootopia globally, around $1 billion, Jungle Book globally.
Who cares about Jungle Book or Utopia? I mean, we're talking about missed opportunity. You say you're going to miss an opportunity with Disney? No, it's red. It's red. The institutions are pulling money out. They're pulling money out. The last time it turned red, Disney dropped from $114 to $86. That's right. So why would you get in now when the institutions are pulling money out? See, that's the beautiful thing about color-coded technology. Doesn't that make sense? So you get this guy pumping, oh, you're going to miss an opportunity. Really? Because of the Jungle Book and this movie and that movie. I don't care about the movies. I don't care about Mickey Mouse. I don't care about any of that stuff. I want to know, are the 5 largest banks, are the pension funds, the mutual funds, the hedge funds, the same ones, are they buying Disney, which they always buy Disney? Are they now buying it? And the color-coded chart says no. So you would get in and lose money. But looking at the chart, you say, well, I'm going to hold back. Let's wait till it turns green. Doesn't that make sense? Here's another one.
Father's Day means golf, ELY, Callaway up 50% in a year.
Oh, he knows. He knows it's going to go up 50% in a year. For anybody to tell you a stock is going to go up 50% in a year, I don't even know what I'm going to have for supper tonight. But this dope, this phony on Bulls and Bears can tell you it's going to be up 50% in a year. Really? With the economy the way it is? What's going on out there? Well, let's do this. He's a little late. It turned green at $8. It's now $10. Yeah. So it's going up 23%. Now he tells you again because it's going to be up another 50%. when it's stage 4. It's at stage 4. You never buy a stock at stage 4. All stocks, every stock has 4 stages. Stage 3 is when you get out. Stage 4, when it hits stage 4, it's really over. Are you kidding? What are you, nuts? So if you bought this stock when you should have, you should be taking your profits now, not buying it. It's just unbelievable, these people. But let's talk about this missed opportunity. What gets me, the reason this country has such an opportunity, when Baby Bush, when that dope created the financial and housing recession, he left such an opportunity for Obama when Obama came in. What an opportunity Obama had. Incredible. He should have been building as much of the infrastructure is possible for the next 30 years, that we need for the next 30 years. Obama. Why? Because think about it. It's going to be decades before the cost of borrowing money is this low. It's going to be decades before the cost of commodities that you need, like wood and cement and steel, is going to be this low. For construction of our infrastructure, like high-speed trains and that go up and down the East Coast and the West Coast and across the country. Think about it. During Obama's first term, he could have bought up the land and the right-of-way dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. When the recession was peaking, dirt cheap. He could have put hundreds of thousands of laid-off construction and steel workers back to work with high-paying construction jobs and steel jobs for building new airport terminals, train terminals. Have you seen our airport terminals and train terminals? Are you nuts? They could have been building roads and bridges and airports and new rail. He could have been improving the power transmission network. Boy, that needs work. Instead, what does he do? He blows that incredible opportunity that would have been a Reagan-like recovery of 4% growth, putting millions of jobs, millions of people back to work. But what does he do? Instead, he enters a period of a crony capitalism that gave us income and quality like we never experienced. By giving money to his friends, his money bundlers who financed him in his campaign to make them rich. He said, come participate with me in the Obama-backed green energy and renewable energy programs. It failed, including companies like Solandra. That's where he put all the money, can you imagine, to take care of his buddies. And in the end, the Obama-backed green energy and renewable energy failures put us, the taxpayers, in a hole, $153 billion. And he promised us 5 million green jobs. We only created 1,873 green jobs at a cost of $11 million per job. Put us in a hole of $150 billion? Our deficit went up. He also increased not only our deficit, but our national debt. What a missed opportunity. Incredible. Incredible. What a dope. My Lord. We'll be right back after this break. And we're going to take a look at another stock.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Hi, I'm Phil Grant at philsgang.com. You know, it's been 7 years now since Obama ordered his Fed chairman to lower the savings rate from 5% to less than 0.25%. With the false narrative, it would spur economic growth and jobs. Everyone would have an opportunity in this economy. That's what he said. But what it spurred was a front-loading of the biggest, fake, unsustainable stock market rally of 200%. That's what it spurred. Now, most people did not participate in that rally because people got out of their 401k in 2009. And they said, just get me out. I want nothing but fixed income. And they got killed because with low interest rates, fixed incomes get murdered. You got to know what you're doing. if you're going to really retire, you got to be associated with the stock market. That's why you come to philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. You know, we come in the morning, we have what we call coffee talk. But we just don't sit around and throw the bowl, or joke or laugh. Our coffee talk is serious. Every morning before you start out investing, we have an intense discussion on what is going on and where we should be investing. Because it's all about not the money, but where you're putting that money. Join my gang, philsgang.com, and enjoy the best coffee in town.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. There's so much bad news out there. Let me give you some good news. The good news is you can retire when you're 65 years of age. You can live the same lifestyle you've come accustomed to, but you're going to have to make a change. And what's that change? To get rid of your 401k. It's a scam. It doesn't work. We've never seen more people pulling their money out of 401ks than right now. $40 billion just in this last few quarters, because they know it doesn't work. So they're taking their money and stuffing it in the mattress. That's not what to do. Look, it's not about the money you put away. It's about how you invest that money. And clearly 401ks don't work. But it does work here at Phil's Gang. philsgang.com, where we just got a return of over 35% in copper.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
Every single one of his medical bills, everything is just all taken care of.
We have phenomenal research, outstanding clinical care, and the generosity of public, which allow us to treat patients regardless of what it takes.
At St. Jude, families never receive a bill for treatment, travel, housing, or food, because the only thing a family should worry about is helping their child live.
Because of you.
Gracias a ti. Because of you.
There is St. Jude.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. There's so much bad news out there. Let me give you some good news. The good news is you can retire when you're 65 years of age. You can live the same lifestyle you've come accustomed to, but you're going to have to make a change. And what's that change? To get rid of your 401k. It's a scam. It doesn't work. We've never seen more people pulling their money out of 401ks than right now. $40 billion just in this last few quarters, because they know it doesn't work. So they're taking their money and stuffing it in the mattress. That's not what to do. Look, it's not about the money you put away. It's about how you invest that money. And clearly 401ks don't work. But it does work here at Phil's Gang. philsgang.com, where we just got a return of over 35% in copper.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264. Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Radio Show. Want to know more about Phil's Gang? Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-GANG. 877-600-4264.
All right. How do you Brexit-proof your portfolio if you are of a mind to do so? Particular names in defense that stand out to you?
I think in defense I like them all, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, but my current favorite is L3 Communications. Triple L is the symbol. It's right in the sweet spot.
Sweet spot? What are you, nuts? Welcome back to Phil's Gang. This is why you need a color-coded technology chart. Look at this. It's already made its move. It's already made its move. It's already gone up 23% since November, or since January. 23%, 27%. You don't go into stock after it goes up 27%, not unless it pulls back at least 10%. It hasn't done that yet. So you'd be getting in. This is exactly why this is why the folks who are not professionals always get in exactly at the wrong time. These guys always put you in right at the top, because they don't want the stock to start coming down. Are you kidding me? Look, I'm looking at it turn from red to green. And now he wants you to get in at the very, very top. What we call stage 3 of a stock. Remember, stocks go up 65% of the time. Yeah, you have an edge 65% of the time. You buy a stock, always know, hey, it goes up 65% of the time. I can feel pretty good about that. But you increase that to 75 to 85% when you're using a chart because you're following the money in and the money out. But before I finish this, I've got to finish this thing on the lost opportunity. No one should be without a job, without a good job. Nobody should be not having part-time. Nobody should be gone from a $60,000 job to a $38,000 job. That's because he missed a great opportunity because he's lazy. That's why. He's lazy. And President Hussein Obama is not only, you know what I love about, but they're always talking about Trump, even him, how Trump's a bigot. President Hussein is not only an anti-capitalist, but an anti-right bigot who wants to disarm all Americans so to pursue his Marxist goals of making you and me subservient to the government. This is crazy. He's anti-right. He's anti-capitalist. This President Hussein has an addiction to do away with the Second Amendment, unarm all Americans. And you notice in his speech in Orlando, he didn't blame the killer, Omar, or the foreign radical groups, but he blames the AR-15, saying guns are responsible for the 49 killing. By the way, the AR-15 was never used. He never used it. The guy didn't use an AR-15. He used a SIG semi-automatic and a Glock semi-automatic pistol, not the AR-15. Unbelievable. And see, it's that kind of thinking is why he never took the opportunity to turn this into a 4% economic growth, which was so beautiful. We had the best timing in the world to buy commodities dirt cheap, borrow money dirt cheap. But instead, he incentivized people not to go to work. He told them, if you're working for insurance, not to work for insurance. Don't. You're job locked. Leave your job. We'll take care of the insurance for you. Remember all that? This is crazy. Then he told people who lost their job and went out looking for work. He said, don't look for work. Here, I'll put you on disability, pay you not to work. Because he didn't want people to work. He didn't want the folks who were on unemployment or who were unemployed to find a job. Because if they did, the unemployment rate goes up. That's right. That's how he keeps the unemployment rate down. Remember, by cheating, making sure more and more people who lose their job don't find a job. Because that lowers the participation rate, labor participation rate, dropping down the unemployment rate. Isn't that crazy? Why do you think he doesn't want people to get jobs? There's no incentive. This is nuts. And think about what he did. He puts in the stupid Obamacare. There's about 180 million of us who have health insurance outside of Medicaid and Medicare. And their premiums, my premiums, your premiums, have at a minimum double. Mine more than double. And our deductibles have skyrocketed. Because he wants us, the 180 million, to subsidize 10 million of his Obamacare folks. Now remember, we were told he wanted to take the 40 million uninsured and put them in Obamacare so they all be insured. There's 9.8 million. It was 12 million. Now most of them got out. It's 9.8 million. They left. They just go to the emergency room. Are you kidding? This is nuts. Here we are, 7 years later, and we haven't grown 3%. The economy's worse now than the time of 9/11, 2001. We still have 12 million homes still underwater. Nobody talks about that. We have more small businesses closing than opening. Why? Because the bank's net profit in the last 7 years gone up $400 billion just in investing in 10-year treasuries with free money that you and I can't do. And when the minute they started to do that, that was it for the country. That was it. We got to get back to the gold standard. If we don't get back to the gold standard pretty soon, we're going to lose. The world, our dollar is the world reserve currency. Someone else is going to do a currency and back it up with gold. We need to get back to the gold standard as quick as possible because this is crazy. First of all, the trade deficit is killing us. We're losing so many jobs. And since Nixon got us off the gold standard, we lost 48 million jobs. But here's the real problem. And I talked about this before. We can't keep exporting inflation. That's why they will drop us as the reserve currency. Because if you think about how it works, we flood the world with dollars, and we are the world currency. So when GE sells a washing machine to China, it's purchased by China's government with dollars. But the Chinese consumer, as I told you before, who goes to the store, has to buy it in their currency, the yuan. And for the yuan to stay neutral with the deflating U.S. dollar, China prints and prints and prints more yuan. So they're importing inflation. As much as they're importing a washing machine, they're importing inflation that costs more. We are exporting inflation. How long do you think they'll let us export inflation? 58 countries are already getting together with Russia and China who are saying, wait a minute, this is nuts. We don't trade. Why do we trade with the U.S.? They have nothing to trade. The only manufacturing they have is housing, and that's domestic. I want to trade with another country. I don't care if I know your country produces wonderful tobacco, and I want your tobacco because we don't produce it, and you want wonderful horses, and I got these wonderful horses, then we trade. I want your tobacco, you want my horses. I want your steel, you want my copper. It's not about coin. It's not about coin. So the more we don't have anything to trade with because we don't manufacture anything anymore, the more we keep saying, hey, I want to buy your copper. Let me have your copper. Here's my dollars. And the guy on the other side says, really? Your dollar's going down, down, down. I got to keep manufacturing more yuan just to keep neutral. So that means every product over here for my consumers in China or Greece or where, they got to pay more. No, I want a currency that's backed by a dollar, by gold. This has been unbelievable. This guy has failed so badly, and now they're telling us to go ahead and vote. He's telling us to vote for Hillary? Are you kidding? Yeah, he's pushing Hillary.
I'm with her. I am fired up, and I cannot wait to get out there and campaign for Hillary.
Yeah, he said she's just like me. Really? Like this?
Laziness.
You're lazy?
You know, it's interesting. There is a deep down underneath all the work I do, I think there's a laziness in me.
Yeah. So lazy. He missed an opportunity to grow this country by 4%. To buy land and buy right-of-ways and to buy commodities and to build our bridges, and because he was lazy. But you know what he wasn't lazy at? Flying around on Air Force One, spending $100 million on vacations. Join my gang. We'll see you on the chart.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grandy, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
It's up to me.